Okay, thank you very much. Welcome for our science lesson today on 25th. We want to proceed with our revision about human body, of which last time we started circulatory system, and we dealt with the components of blood, of which we talked about the 4 components of blood, the plasma, the platelets, the white blood cell, and the red blood cell. So today we proceed because we said under circulatory system we have 3 main parts, of which is the blood and its 4 components. We have the blood vessels, and we also have the structure of the heart. Now we move to the types and functions of blood vessels. Now, what are blood vessels? You find that blood vessels are tubes in the body where blood flows. Blood does not flow in human flesh or tissues, but it flows in tubes which are known as vessels. Those are tubes that transport blood from one place to another. Number 2, you find that there are 3 types of blood vessels. We have the arteries as the first type of blood vessels. We have the veins, the second type of blood vessels, and lastly we have the capillaries. Those are the 3 types of blood vessels: the arteries, veins, and capillaries. Now let us narrow down and specifically discuss about each of these types of blood vessels. Now let's start with arteries. What is the structure of arteries, and what is their function, and also the characteristics? Now these are the characteristics of arteries. When we talk of the arteries, we say arteries are blood vessels that carry blood away from the heart. You understand, the heart is the one that pumps blood to other parts of the body. So the arteries are the blood vessels that carry blood from the heart to other parts of the body. Number 2, another characteristics of arteries, you find that all arteries except pulmonary artery carry oxygenated blood. Now when we talk of the oxygenated blood, this is pure blood, or this is blood which is having oxygen. You say all arteries in the body except pulmonary artery. So when you say all arteries carry oxygenated blood, then you will be wrong, because we are saying all of them apart from one. There is only one artery which carries deoxygenated blood, that is pulmonary artery. So the statement is very clear: all arteries except pulmonary artery transport oxygenated blood, which is pure blood, blood which is having oxygen. Number 3, we say that arteries are located deep in the body and have thick elastic walls. You find that they are located deep in the muscle. They are not found on the surface of the body. They are located deep inside the body, and they are having thick elastic walls. We will have to discuss why they are having thick elastic walls later. Now D, we say that they have narrow lumen. A lumen is an opening inside the vessel. So the opening inside the arteries are very narrow as you compare to other types of vessels. And then we say that blood flows in arteries under very high pressure. Arteries also have pulses, that is the spurts. Blood moves in spurts. They don't move smoothly or continuously, they move in spurts. That is why sometimes there is a question when you injure yourself or somebody is injured and you see blood oozing out in spurts or in pulses, we say that the blood vessel which will have been injured is the artery. Lastly, we say aorta is the main artery. There are 4 main vessels that are connected to the heart. We will also have to discuss about that one when we will be talking about the structure of the heart. Now you find that aorta is the main artery. There are so many arteries in the body, but aorta is specified as the main artery. Now there is a picture here for the artery. We have said that an artery is a blood vessel which is located interior the body, inside the body tissues. We have also discussed that the lumen, or an opening inside the artery, is very narrow. And also the walls thick elastic walls. We found that arteries are having thick elastic walls. Why is it having thick elastic walls? To withstand that high pressure that the blood flowing in them is having. So that is the first type of vessel. Allow me to move to the second type of vessel, which is the veins. So after discussing the arteries, let us also talk about the characteristics of veins. Now, you find that in many cases, veins and arteries, their characteristics are opposite. Where we say this one is having high pressure, that one is having low pressure, this one is having narrow lumen, this one is having wide lumen. So you find that it is vice versa. You find that veins carry blood to the heart. In the other side, we said that arteries carry blood away from the heart. So the veins carry blood to the heart. Number two, we say that all veins except pulmonary vein carry deoxygenated blood. Now, what do we mean when we talk about deoxygenated blood? We mean that this is impure blood, or blood which is dark in color, or we can say it is blood which is having carbon dioxide. So all veins, but not all of them. Only one vein that carries oxygenated blood is pulmonary vein. So the statement here is also very clear. Like in the other side, we talked of all arteries except pulmonary artery. So here we say all veins except pulmonary vein carry deoxygenated blood. Number three, veins are found near the surface of the body. The character number three, veins are located on the surface of the body. Veins are found on the surface of the body. This is now vice versa. As we talked about the arteries are found deep in the body, but this one is found on the surface of the body. Number four, you find that the veins have wide lumen. Wide lumen and thin walls. They have wide lumen and thin walls. Number four, blood flows in veins slowly. Blood flows in veins slowly, smoothly, and at low pressure, and at low pressure. We said that when you are discussing the characteristics of arteries, most of them is vice versa. Now when we are talking about the veins, this one we said that blood flows in veins slowly, smoothly, and also under low pressure, as vice versa about the arteries. Also have valves which prevent backflow of blood. The veins have valves to prevent backflow of blood. And lastly, the main vein is called vena cava. These are the characteristics of veins. Now, we say that the veins carry blood to the heart. All veins except pulmonary vein carry deoxygenated blood. All veins carry deoxygenated blood, apart from pulmonary vein. We say that the veins are found on the surface of the body. So if you have minor injuries, you will find that the veins are the most vessels that will be injured, because the veins are found on the surface of the body. But the arteries, we said they are found deep inside the body. Next, we also talked about they have wide lumen and thin walls. When you observe the structure of veins, the lumen is wide and also the walls are thin as compared to the arteries. Blood flows in veins slowly because of the low pressure. So the pressure is the one that deals with the speed. So because the pressure is low, the blood in veins will move slowly and smoothly. That is how blood flows in veins. And also they have valves to prevent backflow of blood, and the main vein is the vena cava. Now, when we talk about the vein, here is the structure of the vein. We realize that the lumen is wider. The opening inside the veins is wider as compared to the arteries. Also the wall is thin. Here the wall was very thick to withstand the pressure, but here the pressure is very low. So you find that the walls of veins are thin. And number 3, you find that the veins are having valves. What are the function of valves? The valves prevent backflow. When the blood is moving towards this direction, and due to this low pressure, it might tend to come back, start flowing backward. So what prevents backflow, blood changing direction and starts moving to the other side, are the valves. This one, because of pressure, the arteries does not have valves, but veins have valves, because when blood tends to come back, the valves will close and stop that blood from coming backward. Now, those are the characteristics of veins. Now, lastly, we will have to talk about capillaries. The last type of vessels, we will have to talk about capillaries, which are the smallest type of vessel and is only single cell vessel. You find that the tube is only having one cell. Single means one cell. So that type of blood vessel is capillaries. Now the last one is capillaries. Now, when you talk of the capillaries, these are the tiny and thin walls, are very tiny, and thin walls. The wall, we state that the walls of capillaries is only one cell. Number 2, we say that capillaries are a point of exchange between veins and arteries. This is a point of exchange between veins and arteries. They form a fine network inside the body tissues. They form a fine network inside body tissues. You find that the capillaries form a fine network inside the body tissues. You find that lastly, digested food and oxygen go out from the capillaries. Digested food and wastes go out of capillaries to body tissues, while and oxygen. Digest food and oxygen go out of the capillaries to the body tissues, while wastes like urea enter capillaries. Wastes and also carbon dioxide enter capillaries to body from the body tissues. From the body tissues. Okay, those are the characteristics of the capillaries. Now, one, we say that these are tiny thin walls, single cell walls. Number two, capillaries are a point of exchange between veins and arteries. You find that there is a connection between veins and arteries, so whatever is connecting the two types of vessels are the capillaries. And number three, they form a fine network inside the body. They are everywhere in the body. That is what is meant by form a fine network inside the body. They are everywhere in the body. Digested food and oxygen go out of the capillaries to the body tissues. You understand that food, nutrients and oxygen is supposed to work in the body. So they move out from the capillaries into the body tissues to serve the functions that they are needed. And the waste products like urea and carbon dioxide is not needed. It's toxic in the body. It's supposed to move out. So from the capillaries, it is connected to veins, which is taken to the lungs for purification, and the waste is taken to the kidney for release. So you find that that is a main function of capillaries. This is the structure. You find that the capillary are very small vessels, and they only have single cell walls. So the walls are only one cell. You find that something which is one cell is very small, very minute. Lastly, we have the interconnection of arteries and veins here. You find that in between an artery and a vein, there are capillaries that are connecting the two types of vessels. When the blood is flowing, you understand from the heart, the blood will be carried from, that is pure blood, oxygenated blood will be carried from the heart to the body tissues to serve the functions that are needed. That is pure blood. Now, after the blood will have gained carbon dioxide and wastes, the blood is supposed to go and be purified. So what will connect that impure blood from the arteries to veins, because the veins are the one to carry blood back to the heart for purification. You find that the arteries, in between the artery before the blood enters the vein, you find that the blood becomes impure. From the arteries, the arrow is showing that it is entering the capillaries. The capillaries will transport the blood from themselves to the veins. Now the arrow is indicating that this is now impure blood. It has moved from arteries because it has performed some duties, so it is moving to the veins. From the veins, they are the one that will carry this blood, impure blood, back to the heart for purification. Now when we'll be talking about the structure of the heart, we'll have to discuss how blood flows from the veins, which vein is carrying the blood to the heart, and how purification is carried out. So we'll have to discuss about that as we summarize this topic, circulatory system, next time. So that is the end of our topic today. Thank you very much.